So honestly, the SKX, as painful as it is for me to say, in 2021, it's almost become a moot point, especially considering What's up, guys? Hope you guys have all been well and staying safe. Welcome back to another video. So on today's topic, the SKX 007. There is no way in hell that you haven't heard about this watch. Discontinued in 2019. Definitely a first mechanical watch for many of us who collect watches. It was one of my first ones, actually. It was such a hard thing to beat in terms of value. It was tough. It had amazing water resistance. It looked really cool. And it also paid homage to sort of the history of Seiko. And it was sort of one of their very, I'm not going to say their first legendary watches, but definitely one of, I'd say, their most legendary watch, if anything. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you haven't already, please leave me a like and subscribe down below. It helps me out a ton, and join the Watch Me Win for your weekly content for everything watch related. But the question is it still worth it in 2021? Now, this is sort of a topic of debate amongst watch collectors. Some people say it's not worth it. I'm talking about secondhand market, by the way, because obviously you're not going to find one new. Should you still pick one up? Now, it's going to depend how much you're willing to spend. But even then, it does sort of have a limit. Now I'm going to explain why. So these things used to retail for about $200. I think I got mine for like $220, I think. And that was probably on the higher end at the time. I got this a couple years ago, which is an amazing price, right? 200 meters water resistance, hardlex crystal, looks great. You know, I got mine on a green NATO right now. It's the watch that I go to when I'm looking for something that I just want to beat up and not care about what's on my wrist. The issue now is that with this thing being gone and on the secondhand market, this is creeping up towards, I've seen it as high as $500. I'm going to assume now the market is probably more on the cooler side. I haven't checked the prices in a little bit of a while, but the last time I checked, they were up around $350, $400, which is a little cooler than what I had seen when they were just discontinued. But even pushing $400, $500, I don't even know if that's worth it anymore. I understand if you're looking for this thing, you're looking for an SKX. And if your mind is dead set on an SKX, obviously the only thing that'll satisfy that is an SKX. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check out some prices together just so you can see what I mean.
One eternity later.
Here we go, Seiko SKX. All right, so off the bat, here's one in the States. $387. He called it a Prospex. Okay. There's a lot of modded ones on here. There's the Orange Monster. That's not it. Here's one that's looks like it's new. This is on the rubber bracelet, and it's $455. It's pretty crazy, man. Here's one in Slovakia. $764. $385. What are we looking at? $473, $795. See, like, you're getting the gist, man. Like, these are just watches that are highly inflated in price just out of the fact that they're discontinued, and which is pretty typical. Yeah, this is the green Seiko Optimus. If you remember when that thing went discontinued, I got that for, I think, $500. When it was discontinued, it went up to, I saw them for floating around $2,000, $2,500. So this kind of thing happens very often with used watches. As soon as a watch goes discontinued, everybody who has stock will shoot their prices up and will try to make a bunch of money, which, you know, you can't blame them because apparently people still buy them at these prices. The issue is that when you start to push up to the $500, $600 price range, as some of these sleazy dealers selling secondhand are, you might as well get something with a 6R15 movement, right? And chances are, if you're pushing up that price, you're probably going to go for something like a Turtle or a Patty anyway. Why would you spend Seiko Prospex money on something way less technically advanced than a Seiko Prospex just to have an SKX? And I understand, like I said, if you really want SKX, there's nothing that's going to change your mind. It's not a bad watch to have. It's actually absolutely fantastic. Would I pay $500 for it though? Definitely not. I totally would take that money and push it towards a Seiko Prospex, a Seiko Turtle, a Seiko Patty, something way more technically advanced, something a bit more durable as well. As you push up into those prices, you start to find sapphire crystals as opposed to this thing's hardlex crystal. So lots of choices to be had at that price, which makes this thing sort of a no-go for me anyway. Now, let's say you're looking on the lower end of the spectrum of price for an Seiko SKX, let's say $250, $300, you can find one on the used market. That's within striking distance of an Orient Mako, which you could probably go for anyway. And I think it's not a bad choice at all, especially considering the Orient Mako has come a very long way, technically speaking, in the last couple years. So honestly, the SKX, as painful as it is for me to say, in 2021, it's almost become a moot point, especially considering the new Seiko 5 line, which is basically SKX's. In my opinion, it's a bit of a downgrade, and especially having so many options to choose from. While I do appreciate having those options, and I'm not saying I don't like those watches, I would definitely pick one up if I didn't have an SKX, but it just detracts from that original SKX that everybody is after. So for those reasons, I would say that a Seiko SKX is just not worth anymore in 2021. On the lower end, you have competitors with fantastic choices to go from. If you're willing to spend $500, $600 on something like this, then you might as well go for something higher up on the Seiko food chain. And on top of that, that's only if you're not considering one of the new Seiko 5s as an option for a replacement as an SKX. In my opinion, there's way too many options to choose from to be considering an SKX in 2021. Does it make it a bad watch? Absolutely not. Does it make it a bad choice? Absolutely not, unless you're getting ripped off. If you're paying $500 for an SKX, to me, that's wasted money. But it's not a bad watch. It's actually quite the opposite. This thing has stood the test of time for me, and that's the case for basically everybody who buys them. If you're looking for an SKX in 2021, consider your other options first. If you manage to scoop one up at like a lower price, $300 or so, I think you've still made yourself a fantastic deal. But let me know what you guys think down below, guys. If you haven't already, please leave me a like and subscribe down below. It helps the channel out a ton. But on that note, I'll see you guys next time, and take care.